Good afternoon. Welcome to Nathaniel Manning's new deck. You've topped Sheffield last week and Volt
Yes.
this week.
The locals crusher, they call me.
To be fair, he drew with me.
Don't tell them what you're playing. Right. So do you want to get into that, Provel?
Yes.
Okay, so we're playing Punk Therion, right? So, what we got today is the Punks. Xiamen, 1 card U.N.K, 1 card, mill 8 cards. Really good card. Punk Engine is very strong. E-Tele should not be free. We want to actually resolve our Punk Engine in this deck. So we just max out the Punks. Because unlike the Punk Synchro deck, which is the other version of this deck you can play, we're not playing right, so we can actually normal summon Xiamen and play. Gives you good opponents. We're less likely to be choke pointed because since we're playing, so the more Punks you play, the less likely Ash ends your turn. You know, searches Punk. Usually searches this, but it can search Dino as well. And sometimes you can summon it and make a zombie vampire. Free Foxy Toon. Fun fact, the Adventure right deck with the Punk Synchro deck, this is not 1 card combo in that deck, but it is in this deck because we're playing the smaller level 3 Punk. So this card, yeah, dumps Therion to grave, really good card. If they Ash it, sometimes you can extend past it. Dino, because Dino is really good. Summons back you can either summon back a tuner or summon back a level 8 if you want to mill more cards if you think you haven't done enough. Sharakusai, super good card, right? This card is, on your turn, if they Ash you, you can maybe go into Fusion to still get into your Dino plus Xiamen plays. This also is an interruption for E-Tele or Hulk sometimes, where you can just summon it and summon the Punk Synchro on your opponent's turn. Also lets your life points get lower, so you can sack and punch people. Very strong card.
Love that card.
Free E-Tele. This card probably should not have come back to free. It's free because this card is a 1 card too much. Quick play as well. It's just insane. As long as cards are free and the Punk card stuff is all at free, the Punk stuff will be relevant, even next format. 2 Lily Warrior when we move on to the Therions. Therions are sort of bricky, so you don't want to play a large amount of them. This one's the better one because it searches. You do want to get to this in your first turn combo because you want to search stand up, and I'll explain why later. But this card's also really good for like recursion purposes. The big boy, regular, so playing 3 of it because we just want to draw it. We want to mill it. It's really big, 2/8. It's got really relevant effect. It negates in the skill drain. It negates and pretty much anything, sense of cost. So yeah, everyone knows what regulars does. Basic splash and loads of decks, but this deck is probably the best to play it in. 1 Reaper. So Hieratic Seal is an FTK. So Regulus attached with Reaper is an FTK. Because this gives a quick effect to bounce a card on your opponent's turn. And you bounce this, back to your hand, and then you can activate this to negate by discarding it. It's a really good combo, really strong. I don't think main board's complete until it's that's in there. Free Argo because you really want to mill this. Like the activation effect. You know, activation, good if you have a Therion. Absolute dog if you don't. So like, you know, sometimes in the worst hands you can activate this and send Colosseum and hope you live a turn. Because this can send any Therion card. So that's a play if you absolutely break. You can just activate this, send Colosseum. So next turn you have a play if you live a turn. Yeah, Foolish any Therion, pretty good. Probably the best target of the deck to Ash, personally.
Yeah.
2 Disc Colosseum because we don't want to win 3 of it. Adding a Therion, surprisingly, not that useful if you're not having any setup for it. But really insanely good card. It makes your lock in way better because they can't just like go into battle phase to out it. They have to the first monster trying to destroy a battle, it's not getting destroyed. And it's also secret effect. Its secret effect is any monster destroyed by battle. So if they're outing your board and they don't out this, you can for instance send Argo, and then when they destroy the monster they can add back a Therion on your grave. Super good card. 2 because we can add it back with Argo, we can search it with Lily. It's very accessible. You don't often end with it, but you don't need it. You don't need it. It's just a nice plus. 1 charge. You sometimes have very, very, very awkward hands where the only thing you can do is summon Lily, search charge, and then ditch. Can't send from field, which is very relevant, so you have to have enough Therion to do that. But it is awkward. But we're playing Prosperity in this deck, so we can't draw a lot of cards. But sometimes you just need to have 1. Stand up. So to explain, stand up is pretty good. It targets a Therion on your grave, then you special summon it, and equip it with Therion from hand or grave. So what you do to play on droplets is you'll search this on your first turn, set it, and then when they droplets you or dark roller you, you activate this, target Therion engrave, and then you chain hot red and negate the droplets or the dark roller, and then this is an additional interruption. You can also during your turn main phase banish it to equip a Therion, which is kind of relevant under things like skill drain because it's Therions lose their equip if they're skill drain, but this they don't lose under this because this is a trap effect that equips it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
hand traps. So I'm only running 4 hand traps in this deck because hand traps you need multiples, and I would rather just go for big impact hand traps. So I'm playing Nibs. So Nibs are light, relevant because we're playing Chaos Roller. Against the Punk Synchro deck, you pretty much always nib them on Hulk. If they chain Griffin, that's fine because you don't want to get into Baron. They're playing it significantly worse if they don't have access to Baron because they'll just end on the standard board. Yeah, they'll end on the standard board, which gives you more play. Nib's really good. It's good against Rogue. Probably less good next format. Playing Vela because it's 1 card OTK of Celine. It's light, so you can add it back. Level 1 Tuna, which is very relevant for combo. Jet Synchron. This card's probably fine to come back, to be honest. It's pretty strong. It's not like global. The discard is sometimes a plus, discard sometimes a minus. Yeah, pretty good. Can't add off Chaos Roller, but I always smell off Chaos Roller. Going second cards. So we're not playing a lot of hand traps. That doesn't mean we're not playing a lot of second cards. We're playing 3 talents. Very good this format. They Psyflock you. Okay, cool. Talents take a monster. You know, I'm playing Therion, so the Psyflock isn't that relevant to me. I can still play under it. I'm not doing my best combo, but I can still set up some stuff, which is why I like the Therion version more than the Punk Synchro version. Because the Punk Synchro version, if you Psyflock them, they're just making adventure stuff, which is not as good as Regulus. And Talents is really good because you're going first. If they interrupt you, you can draw, look at their hand. I often usually you need 2 hand traps to stop this deck, so if they hand trap me, I will rip a card out of their hand and continue to play onwards. Really good.
Good spell.
Yeah. 3 droplets. Very relevant in this deck. Send Therions from your hand. Send Argo System to add back Therions later. Your Therions are pretty big, so this often allows you to like beat over stuff. If they try and beat over your stuff in your Colosseum, you can activate this. You can send the equips from the Therions, which is useful. Yeah, all in all, pretty good card. Not great under Herald, to be perfectly honest. That's probably the one weakness of it. So consistency-wise, free prosperity. Your extra deck's actually pretty free. You don't really need to. You can just easily banish 6 when you need to. I often resent banish 6 unless I got literally everything. But yeah, banishing 6. You only really have charge to draw cards on your turn, so the not being able to draw cards isn't massively relevant. Yeah, you kind of need a consistency because Therions are a bit bricky. Now, last card is a Call by the Grave.
Broken.
Should be banned.
Banned.
Ban it.
What's your side deck?
Side deck? Okay, side deck. Alright, so side deck is what side deck is. So 1 red reboot because the trap decks are annoying. 2 anti-spell because Despia, unironically, quite good against this deck. The King Calamity's misses timing. So, and Despia has a lot of quick play cards that can chain. So anti-spell's pretty good. Also make sure you don't have to deal with like droplets and Dark Ruler, which people might be playing. Pretty good card going first. You also side out like droplets a lot of time going first, so you need something to side in. 2 Twin and the Harpies. Twin for Flunder, which is unironically a really bad matchup for this deck. We don't really have a lot of Spirit Statue, and Dimension Shifter absolutely killed me. But Flunder's a bad deck, so it's fine. Harpies, because I mean, if I get rid of the map and the trap, I don't really care. I can out the field spell anyway. I can out the Barra Statue anyway. Free draw. This deck is moderately hurt by draw, not massively. Punk Synchro is moderately hurt by draw. Flunder loses to draw, and I don't like Flunder. We can't activate this on the shifter. Pretty good in this format, I think. Probably wouldn't play next format. So playing free Ash on the side. The reason is I do want to have a card for Despia, and the hand traps I'm currently running main deck aren't very good against Despia. But I don't think Ash does enough in the current format where you would want to main it. If I'm going against Despia, going first, I'll have a lot. So I probably can maybe win that game, assuming I can Calamity's Lock and they don't have a crazy hand. And again, I can side this in and have a 1 card out to all their plays. But going first, Punk Adventure, you can Ash, Hulk, like a negate of Griffin, so it doesn't do much. And if they don't have Griffin, they won't win the game anyway. So, generic card, but it doesn't do enough in the current format to be considered maining it. Not when I'm only maining 4 hand traps. Yeah, and free turn collector, because Sword Soul's pretty strong against this deck. It's not like Despia, where you can just play for anything. This deck actually can be interrupted and lose. A note on Talents versus Gamma. A lot of people play Gamma in this deck. I was more worried about Xiamen getting Ash or Veiled on normal summon, which is why I'm playing Talents. Because while I will always play as if I've got Gamma activating all my cards before I commit the monster, so my opponent is scared of Gamma, I'm not actually playing it because... Not because I draw Driver a lot, though that is true, but more because I don't think the main thing this deck loses to, Gamma stops. And I'm not playing Morpherians, I'm not playing Bull, I'm not playing Duke, because those cards are a bit bricky. Duke's good because it's a sidekick, and a light, but I don't think it's good enough to play over the actually good Therions. So, extra deck.
Are you going to try the Gamma?
I've tried it before. It's not great, honestly.
You play a lot online, don't you?
Yeah, I play a lot on Dueling Book. Hashtag Dueling Book. I just talk about that.
What's your extra deck?
So, Second Game Punisher. Most people know what this card does right now. Ends games very quickly. Gets out of control very quickly. If your life points are low, it's a good stabilizing tool because they can't really beat over this. Send out to a rival. Sort of. Banishes problematic cards. Yeah, can banish back row and stuff. At one point, it targets monster and you controlling one card they control. At one point, I was playing as a Sword Soul player, and they ashed me, so I talent took their Moe, made this, and then attack with it, and banished their Moe and banished their spell trap. Yeah, it's pretty good. Baron. Generic. If they interrupt your Calamities play, you can usually make this as well. So it's a good card. You don't always have to Calamities people in this deck. If you have no follow-up, you shouldn't. You should just make Baron. Because Calamities and no follow-up is a bad idea. Hot Red. Plays around droplets. Need it for Calamities combo. Revives Tuners. Relevant. Good card. Chaos Ruler, my favourite card currently, apart from Shuttle Fusion. Mills 5. Often don't add off it. Don't need to. This milling 5 is good enough. Also, the Dark Dragon Synchro for Chaos Ruler. This card you can cut. It's not amazing, doesn't always come up. On summon, it'll bounce cards equal to level 3 Punk Psychics in your graveyard with different names. So you can bounce 2 cards usually. That's when you make it. It can make on opponent's turn with Shakusai. It can sometimes OTK, very rarely, and it's follow-up as well, because it can revive Punk on your turn. No, though the bounce and revive are exclusive to each other. Forward Synchron, you need that for the combo. Draws a card, pretty good. Calamities, very unfair card, if it resolves. Yeah. Fun fact, misses timing. So you can't chain Formula to anything. If you're forced to, you can make Baron instead. But yeah, says your opponent, no. No cards. Yeah.
Good card.
Yeah. Punk Fusion. The reason this deck can do a 1-card combo is it can make this card can special summon 2 punks from your deck as long as they have different names and they're not level 8. So you can summon Deer Note and Xiamen. Also lets Punk Synchro attack twice if it goes to the graveyard, which is sometimes very funny. If you don't bounce, you can sometimes revive this, Synchro into Punisher and make the Punk Synchro attack twice. And that's a very dodgy OTK. Unicorn, you'll miss it if you don't have it. Hulk, need it for the combo. Also climbs an Access Code Talker. Fun card. It's at 1, by the way. Celine, 1 card Access Code Talker. So Hulk. You often mill a lot of spells, so it's very relevant. Good card.
Good card.
Yeah, good card. Good response to most things. Access Code Talker. Xiamen. Xiamen is a 1-card Access Code Talker and Chaos Ruler OTK. Pop things, kill people, fun. Appaloosa, never make this. It's good in theory.
Would you replace it with something else?
Potentially. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. Yeah. Would I replace it with something else? Potentially. The extra deck, as I said, is kind of... You can play a rank 8 if you want. Something like Dingaritsu or Hope Harbinger, depending on if you want to go first, second, doesn't really massively come up. But like in a simplified game state, you can just make this. Sometimes if they debarrier you on like your turn, you can't kill them. You can climb into this with Hulk and Dino. It's okay. It doesn't come up that much, but when it's there, it's there. It can be replaced. As only vampire because so if you don't get Dark Engrave for Chaos Dragon, you make this, and then it also mills 4 additional cards. Kind of risky, but we're playing talents, which is another benefit of talents that we can. If opponent does activate a card, we can talents them. Relevant. Can't be targeted by monsters not summoned from the graveyard. Irrelevant because no one plays everything summoned from the graveyard. They can't unicorn spin this, I guess, which is something. You can also Tulsa. Sometimes you're just gonna attack into it and make Zeus.
That's pretty good play.
Yeah. Well, it's untargetable, so yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good. Zeus is a good card. Extra deck's kind of whatever. You can. The only real cards you need are like. If I was to say cards you needed. Technically speaking, these are the only cards you require to play this deck optimally. Obviously, stuff like Baron and Second Punisher are nice. Zeus. I mean, Zeus Zombie Vampire play as well is needed. But like these 5 cards here, these like 6 cards here, for the fact they're 6.
So that's your flex spot.
Pretty much. They're all flex spots. You don't need any of these personally.
But this.
Yeah. These are, mate, you need these to play the deck optimally. But like I said, if you get Scythe locked, you're not always out because your Therions can just win you games. And just for you, I'll give you a brief combo tutorial on how to play the main combo of the deck. So I'll show you 2 combos.